Hi there, good evening, and welcome to Business and Leadership Forum with Uchonochete. Today, I hope that your day has been good. Mondays are always good for me. I hope it's been good for you because I always cherish these moments when I come and speak to you guys. Today we are still on the topic of self-worth. Last week we talked about self-worth. I gave an intro to self-worth. I also talked about what people generally think about self-worth. Then we talked about what self-worth is not last week. So now we're going to talk about what is self-worth. Next week, Monday, we're going to talk about um, how to increase our self-worth. So let's just take it step by step. I told you it's going to be a 3 weeks series. This is the second edition in the series, and today we are talking about what is. Let's go deeper into what is self-worth. Before I go, I want to thank you guys on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, and also on Zoom as well. I want to thank you guys for always showing up. It makes it worth it that I come out here and you guys are here to for us to rub minds and discuss on topics. This particular one is as a result of people asking me about self-worth. What is self-worth? How will I know my self-worth? People say your self-worth determines your net worth, all those things, and people are talking about it, and they want to know how does it apply to them. So I think this was the reason why I decided that yes, that we're going to have this discussion here this morning. Okay, so let's look at what is self-worth. This thing, it can be somewhat overwhelming to see yourself for who you really are, without assets, without a dream job, without friends. We all have an idea of who we are, even though it's not necessarily who we really are. It's when people ask you what is your self-worth, it can be confusing to quite a lot of people because overwhelming really, because they're not seeing themselves. My self-worth, I'm not a multi-millionaire yet, so I don't think I'm there. My self-worth is kind of low, and so they gauge or assess their self-worth based on the things that they have and things that they don't have. So most of the time people are confused. People that don't have much yet, I said much yet, people that don't have much yet are usually confused. They're usually confused where they stand in terms of self-worth. For some people it can be agonizing really, and they will do anything but try to avoid this stage of awareness. Self-worth begins from being aware. There also exists a high possibility that people try to avoid becoming self-aware of who they are. Self-awareness is always key. If you are not self-aware of yourself, it becomes difficult for you to truly know what you were created to. And I will tell you, in a minute, I'm going to share a story about my life, and there was a big struggle about what I'm doing, about what I wanted to do. You see, naturally, human beings are elusive when it comes to fear and pain, when you cannot recognize or understand where you are, and it's kind of confusing. But you see, this process is necessary for discovering self-worth and should never be avoided, because you need to become self-aware. Who am I? What was I created to do? or to become in life. So for me, I had this great notion that I was going to be, in the fullness of time, or when the right time comes, I'm going to be a great entrepreneur. I'm going to be a business person. I'm going to have group of companies. I've always wanted to have group of companies, and I already had services that are related, kind of, that will be under the group of companies. So I registered a company very early. I think it was very, very early, maybe in my 20s. I registered a company waiting for the right time. But that time I was still working. But the more I am building myself towards having this conglomerate, as it might be, just having this great venture and having this great business, that was in my mind of what I wanted to achieve. I get excited when I think about it. But somewhere along the line, before the end of the day, I get stuck because I have other things that are interesting to me. I also have things that I feel that this is who I am more than this thing that I want to do, And so when that conflict comes, we are evasive. No, 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 I don't think that this is what I want to be. I want to be among the big boys. I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to be financially free, live in a certain part of town. These are my dreams for myself. This is how I see myself. But just keep on living. For most of us, we get to the point that we realize that that thing we so want is not really who we are. Beyond the painful emotions is, I think there is someone, I can't remember his name. He said beyond the seemingly painful emotion is an eternity of freedom. Eternity of freedom. The first step to becoming, to understanding your self-worth, it is becoming self-aware of who you are. It is a vital part of your journey to understanding what your self-worth is. Your mental picture of who you are might not necessarily be who you really are. So I said, okay, the more I registered these companies, the more we started services. I was still working when some of these companies started existing or started operating. But the more I was doing it, the more I had this passion. I'm a good counselor, and people come to me, to give them counsel. I think it started in, some of my friends said it started in secondary school, but I think for me, the one I can recognize is it started in the university. There was this guy that almost dropped out of school, and he just happened to come to me, and he just said that he thinks that education is not for him, and he feels that he needs to. His father is one of the big men of God in this country, not even in Pentecostal, but in Orthodox. And at that particular time, he wanted to drop out of school. And because he wanted to drop out of school, he just came to just casually tell me. And I spoke to him for about an hour. Then I started seeing him in school. He didn't leave school again. I left school before him, but I later learned that he finished, and I was so happy. We met at a friend's house maybe 2 or 3 years afterwards, and as soon as the guy saw me, he was just screaming that this is the man that made me finish school. This is the man that made me finish school. And that was where I started thinking, oh, do you think that means I have something? There's something about wisdom inside of me that can help someone become who they really are. So it was the first thing the first thing that happened to me that made me realize that there might be a second calling. I called it a second calling. I called it a lesser calling. That my calling was to be an entrepreneur, a business person, but I can do this coaching, mentoring on the side. And after all, that if you have the experiences that you get in at work, you can use it to counsel people younger than you. So I didn't take it. I didn't take it to mean anything. So we kept going. But the more I was getting set for this conglomerate that I wanted to do, I don't know why I almost mumble, but that enterprise that I wanted to do, the more I get into it, the more this what I'm doing today becomes real. You know, I realize that I am called to help people. I'm called to be there for people, to help them get through in the marketplace. And this is what gave birth to Marketplace Apostle, the parent company that is bringing all this and doing all the things that we do. It is from this thought of this is who I am. I'm a groomer, I'm a counselor, I'm a coach, and I'm a mentor. I derive a lot of joy, satisfaction, fulfillment when I see someone else become what God has called them to be. One guy asked me, how do you know that you're called to be a counselor? I said, the day you know that you're called to be a counselor is that when you stop, when you don't see the need to compete with people that you're counseling. Some people don't counsel because they don't want you to be greater than them. And I told him, the day you begin to become very comfortable with people, even becoming more successful than you, and you coach them, then you know that you have a heart of a coach, you have a heart of a counselor and a mentor. You know, and I now started counseling people more often. I also remember when I was doing my master's, there was this guy. I spoke to him, then I wasn't even like a strong Christian. But when I spoke to him, and I spoke to him based on the scriptures and my limited understanding of the Christian life at that time, and the guy came to class and was saying that this guy is a pastor. That was like maybe 15, 17 years even before I now say that I'm a bit mature in the things of the Lord. So it is who you are will always pop up from time to time, but we tend to ignore it because that is not the picture that we see, or that is not the picture we want to see. You know, sometimes the person that you think you are is not the person that you really are. You know, it's okay to have ambitions and life goals, but never let your dreams make you deny who you are. So this drive to have this group of companies, be highly successful, travel the whole world, get all the benefits, you know, that thought was kind of strangling who I was as a mentor, as a speaker, who I was as a groomer, you know. And the more I became myself, I started paying attention to those feelings, those inner yearnings. You know, my life started becoming, there seemed to be some form of balance. You know, a double-minded man is not stable. He's unstable in his ways. So I was unstable because I felt that I made the major the minor, I made the minor the major. And I felt that it's only through one particular way, business, have group of companies, can you be wealthy, but not necessarily so. I'm an investor. I can invest in things that can give me dividend. If I have 5 investments and those 5 investments, say they give me whatever you want to call 1 million every month, every year, so it means that you have 5 million every year, and that dividend can be more than the dividend you get by being an MD of a company and you're pushing it by yourself. You might not get that dividend for yourself at the end of the day. So we all have different things God has called us to be. It's good to be ambitious, but don't let your ambition take away who you really are. And because when you begin to deny who you really are, your potentials can never really come out. Your potentials can never become beneficial to you. And you know that a man's gift makes room for him, especially in his bank. A man's gift makes room for him, financial room for him. So self-denial of who you are is an enemy, really, of self-worth. Self-denial is an enemy of self-worth. So I was listening to a short video on YouTube. This must have been about between 18 to 20 years. I was listening to a short video, and the guy was talking about if you need to discover who you are, then you have to learn meditation. So I started meditating. I didn't even know how to meditate and all that. But the thing about life is, when you continue to do something, you will get your reading at a particular point in time. You get to a point that you will find a reading. You understand what it is that you're looking for. How meditation has helped me is to teach me how to be quiet and let the real me speak. And when I say this, people always laugh. I didn't meet the real Uche until I started meditating, because we all know that this is just an earthly suit. This is not who you are. This is not. We are created spirits, but God needed to put us in a body. So that's why we're like this. So most of us live life not discovering the spirit Uche, or the spirit, your name, put your name, because you're a spirit being. And for you to be able to connect with yourself, it takes a bit of practice. So I get up every morning about 3:30 in the morning, and I just sit still. After practicing for many months, I just sit still. And as soon as I sit still, thoughts, different kind of thoughts, crazy thoughts. And I'm wondering, where is this thought coming from? I've never even on my own, my conscious mind, I'm fully awake and I'm thinking those things. So why are those thoughts coming? And some of us might make the mistake and say the inside of us is not clean. The inside of us is filthy. So that's why these thoughts are coming. No, those thoughts are not from you. You need to realize that those thoughts are not from you. Many of us claim those thoughts and begin to feel that those thoughts belong to us. No, it doesn't belong to you. Because after a while, just watch the thoughts. What I do is I call it watching the thoughts. Now I can watch my thoughts. I can watch my emotions. I can watch my reaction to things. Because if you annoy me right now, all I need to do is to watch that anger. I'm angry, but I can watch that anger. And when you're watching that anger, you're bringing light into it. You're bringing light and you're bringing awareness. Remember, I said self-awareness is what leads to self-worth. So becoming aware of who you are. So whatever doesn't want to go, all I just need to do is to acknowledge that I see you. And the more I acknowledge that thing, the more it becomes, the light comes. And once the light comes, that thing will disappear. And it will keep disappearing every time you do it until it doesn't show up again. And when those thoughts have come and gone, that is where who you are, and you begin to, fully grasp who you are. What did you come to this world to do? And so now at that point is where I realized that this is me. Grooming, teaching, and passing out information. It's at that point that I heard in my spirit, I've called you into a ministry of wisdom and knowledge. Go and sell knowledge for me. And that's what I'm doing. What I'm doing is just sharing with you the knowledge, the gift that I have of wisdom and knowledge in certain areas. In those 5 areas I always talk about: business, career, leadership, personal finance, and life issues and relationships. So these are the things that I deal with. These are the things that I discuss on a weekly basis. And I derive a lot of joy, even though it does not pay as much as having an organization that you are the MD. But I know within the shortest possible time, earning from your gift is the greatest benefit that you can have. Look at athletes, look at footballers, look at musicians. They are earning from their talents. You see a boy of 18, 19 years old is earning 250,000 pounds every week. Is that not unfair to the rest of us that can earn that amount? But look at it, it's their talent. When you learn, when you discover who you are, that thing that you have discovered, that is what is going to take you to the palace, and that is what is going to give you wealth as well, unimaginable wealth. So, but what we do is that we go into self-denial mode. We're into self-denial mode, and self-denial is an enemy of self-worth, because it is painful for us to discover who we are, for us to become self-aware. Don't deny it. Is the process that is needed for you to start your journey to becoming, to knowing your self-worth. Most people will never want to let go of who they think that they are and embrace their true selves for who they really are. So not holding on to, which you have 6 companies, you have 7 companies, you have a private jet, you are flying all over the place. It's companies that was seen, but that's not what I'm doing now. What I'm doing now is I'm seeing human beings being blessed and being transformed. So that change in your vision and direction and focus, it has to be during a quiet time. That is where you can really discover who you are. Okay, self-worth is not a bad thing. It makes you only accept your weakness while you learn to focus on your strength. Everybody must do a SWOT analysis, at least the first 2 parts, or the 4. SWOT analysis is strength. SWOT is strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Everybody should do that. I do that. Some of your strengths lie undiscovered, and until you become self-aware, you'll be unable to bring them to light. I didn't know I could do some things until I discovered who I am, until I discovered myself. I became self-aware what God has called me to. Once you become aware what God created you to be, automatically strength for that thing will also come out. One, on self-worth, you can neither be your own best friend or your worst enemy. But one thing I must tell you is that you need to do your own SWOT analysis. Where is the area of my strength? Where is the area of my weakness? Concentrate on the area of your strength, because the area of your strength is a self-worth booster, not the area of your weakness. Okay? If you keep evading self-awareness, you only keep delaying your freedom and healing. Because there's this level of freedom and healing that comes when we discover ourselves. When we discover ourselves, then we can easily know our self-worth. Self-worth truly comes when you finally understand who you are and what strong potentials you possess. Self-worth is somebody that you have fully assessed, analyze who you are. You know the areas of your strength. So when you stand and speak, you speak from authority of confidence. Because you know your gift. There are some things that you know how to do. No matter what, you tell them, don't worry, I know how to do this, because even if they wake you up from sleep, you will be able to do it. You'll be able to do it. And that there's a confidence that comes from it. And self-awareness will give you that confidence as you proceed on your journey to self-worth. So let's look at the importance of self-worth. The best part about recognizing self-worth is seeing the practical impact it has on your behavior. Seeing the practical impact it has on your behavior. Once you recognize the areas, let's just even say, recognize the best part, the areas of your strength, it gives you a level of confidence. A man that is confident, especially in the marketplace, is a man that realizes his strength and say, oh, I can be a player here. I can also play at this level because I have this gift. I can do this. Some people are not playing in the big leagues because they don't see themselves. They by themselves have judged themselves that they cannot make a move. So they don't even try. They don't even try. Self-worth affects the things you do and the choices you make consciously. Self-worth will affect the things that you do. If you're not a very confident person, you don't value yourself that much, you can compromise. You can do anything to make people happy around you. Some people just want everybody to be happy. They don't want everybody to be sad. So they might need self-worth boosters, because sometimes it takes knowing who you are, what you can do, and once you know those things, you can now look at and say, I can do this, and you talk with authority. And that speech that you're making is what will even attract customers to you. So you start, and once you understand your area of strength and you're growing it, you realize that you start rejecting negative effects on the outlook on your life, and you become more of a better person, because good things begin to come your way, because you now know what you are looking for. Oh, this is what I'm called to be. The day I realized that this is what I'm called to do, I had to change the model and strategy of what I was doing before. Let me still throw more light to the importance of self-worth, starting from self-awareness. And so once you recognize your self-worth, first of all, by understanding yourself, becoming self-aware, and you know your self-worth. Once you deal with the areas of your strength, you begin to have confidence. And when you begin to have confidence, you know what will happen to you? You start to reject negative things. So when somebody tells you that, oh, you can't do this, before you can go and look at it and say, oh, I can do this, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure if I can do it. But a man or a woman that's already done their own SWOT analysis will tell you, I can do it. There's a confidence that comes with knowing. A confidence that comes with knowing. And once you know, you know. And once you know, you become that confident, and you begin to reject negative people. Try to make sure negative people are not around you, negative words, you can't do it. Certain things will just live your life. I can't do it mentality will just live your life, and you start living. That's one of the importance of self-worth. Self-worth is what keeps you satisfied even when your achievements, your assets, and your possessions are taken away. And the thing with successful people is that they know what it takes to have a successful organization. So even if they lose it, they start it again. They're not going to say, oh, I lost this. They're not going to cry and say, oh, I don't know if God is going to help me build this thing again. What they are going to be worried about is that the time that it will take them to build, not be if they will get to that level. They know they will get to that level and even surpass it. It's just that maybe they are worried the time and say, oh, look at my age, can I do this? It's not because they can't do it. So self-worth is that confidence that you have that even when you lose everything, yeah, I can still get it back. The moment you reach a healthy level of self-worth, life becomes much more meaningful. You become confident. There's something confidence does to you. Confidence attracts good things to you. And let me give you an example. You're sitting in your office and a vendor comes. Someone that will offer a service to you comes. Say maybe a plumber, maybe a driver, maybe a technician. And when they come, if they don't sound confident in what they do, you might say, okay, maybe I'll do it next week, I'll call you, so that they will go, you call somebody else. But when the person is talking intelligently, you can see that he understands, he knows what he's talking about, he knows his trade. Most of the time, you will use that person. So confidence, knowing, getting to a point of healthy level of confidence, what it does, of self-worth, it gives you confidence. And when you become confident, it opens doors to you that normally will not be open to you if you were not self-aware. Okay, so let's just see how to recognize your self-worth as I round up. So you finally become self-aware. You feel good. If you don't feel good about yourself, try and become self-aware. When you become self-aware, then you've started on the journey of increasing your self-worth, because now you know what to do. And so for people that are in a position where nothing excites them, you think that you are average, or you don't know, you need some form of validation from people, well, just listen to the last part of this presentation, how to recognize your self-worth. What you should know is that self-worth first comes from within. It's never from outside. People that don't know you can never judge you well. They can never fully judge you for what you really are. Nobody can really pay you for what you bring, except you tell them. So if you have not come to the place of realizing your self-worth, you will take any pay. You will just take anything that is given to you, because you are not aware of yourself. You are not aware of what you can bring to the table. So you need to be aware. And once you are aware, it makes life much interesting for you. Self-worth is the importance you place on yourself. Never forget. It is what you place on yourself and not what others place on you. So you must make sure that you know exactly what you can do. You tell yourself, you see this one, I won't be able to do it. But this one, it's just like someone saying, I think I said it last week, that your grades can have an effect on someone's self-worth. Your grade can have an effect. So, but if you know that you're not good in reading, or say you're not good in literature, or you're not good in maths and all those things, it doesn't mean that you can't be a good technician. It doesn't mean that you can't be a good athlete. You just need to find yourself. Self-worth is understanding what your potentials are and what you can do, and that will give you that confidence to go into life and say, no, I don't want this. If you don't know your self-worth, in order to survive, you can take on many jobs that can now become an issue for you in the long run. There are some people that will say, look, I have a company, so I'll do every job, and every job, the one they can do, the one they cannot do, they will take it on, and at the end of the day, they have very angry and dissatisfied and customers and clients. But self-confidence tells you, self-worth gives self-confidence. You know exactly what you bring to table. I know what you're charging, and your life will become more beautiful, more fulfilling and satisfying. So now you need to find your strength, to recognize your self-worth. Start with your area of strength. Strength in self-worth comes from finding qualities you excel at. Your strength starts with finding the qualities you excel at. These qualities will be a constant reminder whenever you start feeling out of sorts. I know, but I can do this now. I can talk to people. I can write a book. I do this. When I talk, people appreciate. There are some things that you do that you can use to encourage yourself to say, no, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this, I can do that. So we should make sure we always put our strength before us, and always think about our life and encourage ourselves that even we can do this. It will help you. Let me give you an example. There are little things that you do, or things that you have done that can help you. Like things like you have a list of your talents. It's part of your SWOT analysis, a list of your talents, things you like about yourself and make you stand out. Things you like about yourself, then you do more of it. Challenges you want, think about the challenges you want, talk about the challenges you want, how you have helped people. Helping people makes you feel good. And other great reflections that you may have, and those reflections are the things that when you think about it, it strengthens your resolve in realizing, it strengthens your self-worth. And once that self-worth is strengthened, you are a confident person and you can do more. Okay, another way to recognize your self-worth is try not to fall into that danger of linking your self-worth to things and people. It's very dangerous. You make unhealthy decisions when you keep looking for validation from things or from people. There are some people that can't make decisions without one auntie, one uncle, one mentor, one this, not tell them to do it. Am I saying you shouldn't seek counsel? No. In the multitude of counselors, there is safety. It's good to take advice, but now you are the one that will check all the advices that you have received, and now pen down the ones that work for you and go for it. You never get to see yourself for the potential that you have if you're always looking for external validation. If you are looking for external validation. So you must make sure you will become frustrated when you're looking for external validation. You set yourself up for a chain of disappointments when you're looking for people that will validate you. It comes from inside. Anything that is coming from inside is strong, pure, and real. Anything that is coming from external is already adulterated. Let me tell you why. Because when somebody is praising you, Some people praise you because they want to ask you a favor afterwards. Some people say nice things because they want to get something from you. It can happen that you can't base, somebody can be upset. Somebody that's been giving you sound advice can be upset one day, and you go and you give you a negative advice because at that time he's not feeling good with himself. So there's a danger to make sure, the danger of linking your self-worth to people and things. Take advice from people, but make sure that you do your SWOT analysis. Make sure that you know exactly what you want and put your best foot forward, put your strength forward, and now glow. Just mask in that glory of the talent that God has given to you. And the more you exercise your talent, the more you become talented and gifted and skillful in that thing that you're doing. All right, so I will stop now. Next week we'll talk about how to increase our self-worth. I will conclude with that. But with this particular second edition, in the series, I want to. I just brought out what self-worth is, in a way that you can think, that will make you start thinking more of your strengths. Self-worth comes from what you can do. Self-worth, the summary is about understanding, becoming self-aware. Once you are aware of what you want and you agree that what you think you are is not who you really are. Some of us, what we think we are is not who we are. Take time and learn the act of meditation. Learn the act of talking to yourself, not verbally, inside. Learn the act of discovering for yourself who you are. And the day I discovered myself, I had this peace. I started having this peace over my body because I know that now I'm telling myself the truth. I'm not trying to be like somebody else. I know who I am. And once you know who you are, you begin to live well. You begin to live well. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've come to the end of this presentation. I hope to see you next Monday by 5 p.m. I will be concluding on this. If you have questions, put it out on my DM. 5 p.m. on Wednesday, I'm going to come and talk about the 5 p.m. on Wednesday. I'm going to come and talk about those questions you put out there. If it's about on self-worth, please put the questions. I will talk about it. That's the reason why I am here. I will come and I will talk about it, and so that you can have closure in some certain things. This is my special invitation to you. And also, I want you to mark this in your calendar. Make in Nigeria 2022 is going to start from the 20th of October to the 25th of October this year. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be really, really, really awesome. And I want you to be part of it. I want you to mark it in your calendar. Do you know that at Make in Nigeria, you can hear world speakers from all over the world for free? Do you know that in Make in Nigeria, you can, with a small token, you can have a business idea, you can receive go through master classes that are being sought after, even out of Port Harcourt, around globally. We have master classes, people that have done things that with a token of 1,000, 2,000 naira, you can have people speak to you that you won't even, you can't imagine the wealth of knowledge you're going to impart. But the main conference is free for you. You can come and hear world speakers, and it's for free. Do you also know with a token, a small token, the raffle ticket, you can win a plot of land in Port Harcourt. There are actually 2 plots of land for grabs in our raffle tickets. So please buy those raffle tickets, and you know what, you can just become a landowner. We have exhibition area where you can exhibit your wares. Go to www.makeinnigeria.com. Go to makeinnigeria.com. Register for this event, and also click anyone that you're interested in and register for that as well. I hope to see you in October. But before then, you guys stay well and stay blessed.